Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor. Let us begin the bulletin with the headlines. Winter session of Parliament to start from 26th of November. Many important reform legislations like the GST, the Land Bill and others are slated to come up. BJP admits it failed to read into the strength of the Grand Alliance as it began post-mortem of the huge loss in Bihar. Rumblings continue within party over the other possible reasons. Protesting war veterans to begin returning their medals after they reject government's notification of the one rank, one pension scheme. Ruling party concedes defeat in Myanmar. Aung San Suu Kyi's National League for Democracy is all set to sweep to power. Final results to be announced in a few days. And World Anti-Doping Agency WADA recommends ban on Russia from international athletics, including the 2016 Olympics, alleging widespread corruption and state-sponsored doping offences. Well, the winter session of Parliament will start from 26th of November. The session will happen in the backdrop of the BJP's massive defeat in Bihar. The government is hoping that the opposition doesn't use the verdict to paralyze the functioning of the House.
The Cabinet Committee of Parliamentary Affairs met on Monday to decide dates for the winter session. Parliament will convene with a special two-day sitting on 26th and 27th November to discuss the Constitution and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's contribution to the nation.
To commemorate the acceptance of the Constitution through Constituent Assembly, we have decided that special sittings of both the houses separately on 26th and 27th. First 2 days there won't be any question hour. And then the winter session continues up to 23rd of December, depending on the exigencies of the government.
The government is also expected to make all-out efforts to reach out to the opposition for passage of key bills like the GST. It also urged parties not to interpret the election results as a mandate to disrupt Parliament. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Venkaiah Naidu said all parties need to enable Parliament to pass the reform measures.
Bihar verdict is a clear statement of their aspirations. It should not be interpreted as a mandate to obstruct Parliament.
Opposition parties, including the Congress and the left, have spelt out their own agendas during the session.
We, the CPIM, in a special resolution in our party Congress, have demanded a special stand-alone session to mark Baba Sahib Ambedkar's 125th birth anniversary, and that session should discuss the current status of the implementation of the slogan for social justice, what we have done with the reservations, how effective, what is the current condition of the social justice for the Dalits, Adivasis, the marginalized sections, etc. But the government has not either circulated an agenda or even informed what it's going to discuss these 2 days.
Let us see which are the bills and how they are going to affect the common people, workers. We'll see. We'll examine all those things and we'll call a party meeting. In the party meeting, we'll decide which should be our priorities.
The winter session comes in the backdrop of the Bihar election results that have been a huge setback for the ruling BJP-led NDA at the centre. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired BJP's parliamentary party meeting yesterday to discuss the impact of the mammoth defeat in Bihar. Well, after the meeting at the party headquarters, now Finance Minister Arun Jaitley admitted that underestimating the strength of the Grand Alliance was one of the main reasons for the huge loss. However, the party held no one from the BJP or the RSS really responsible for the debacle.
BJP started a whole new week going back to the drawing board on Monday after the massive defeat in the Bihar Assembly polls. For the past 24 hours, there have been rumblings within the party over the possible reasons behind its drubbing. One of them was RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat's remark on caste that triggered reactions during the polls. Even allies have been scathing in their attacks.
फिर आई बात कि साहब यहाँ पटाखा छूटेगा पाकिस्तान में अगर जीत होगी उनकी। तो इससे भी हुआ कि वो जानबूझ करके हम लोगों को टीज करते हैं और जानबूझ करके लोग एनडीए के साथ लोग चले गए।
इस आरक्षण के मामले में माननीय संघ प्रमुख के बयान ने बिहार के लोगों को अंतर से हिला दिया। 90% पिछड़े वर्ग के लोगों को एकजुट कर दिया, आक्रामक कर दिया और उनके साथ साथ उसमें जो मुस्लिम समुदाय के लोग थे वो भी इस आक्रामक एकजुटता में के साथ अपने को जोड़ लिया।
आरक्षण के आज के जो विद्यमान पद्धति इसकी पुनः समीक्षा की जानी चाहिए और जो राजनीति से दूर लोग रहते हैं ऐसे विद्वानों ने समाज चिंतक जो है उन्होंने करनी चाहिए। इतने उनका कहने का मतलब था। इस उनके वक्तव्य को तोड़ मरोड़ कर ये बात सही है कि लालू प्रसाद और नीतीश कुमार ने उसको पेश किया और उसका उनको लाभ हुआ।
Before BJP's top 12 leaders met to discuss the crushing defeat, party chief Amit Shah met RSS chief in Delhi to discuss the reasons behind it. According to reports, Shah said that BJP's inability to present a credible backward leader as its face was a key reason. However, the party later admitted that underestimating the strength of the Grand Alliance was a bigger mistake.
कि 2014 के लोकसभा चुनाव में महागठबंधन के तीनों घटक आरजेडी, जेडीयू और कांग्रेस पार्टी अलग अलग से चुनाव लड़े थे। चुनाव में ये तीनों एक दूसरे का अपना टोटल वोट ट्रांसफर नहीं करवा पाएंगे। वो अनुमान और आकलन हमारा गलत था।
Jaitley also indicated that the poll loss would not impact the possibility of Amit Shah not getting a second term as BJP president. There was also no words of any action against rebels who have been speaking out against the party. Bureau Report, Rajya TV.
Meanwhile, BJP leader Shatrughan Sinha, who did not figure in his party's Bihar poll strategy, met his state chief minister Nitish Kumar a day after the loss. Now, heaping praises, Sinha termed Nitish Kumar as the tallest leader of Bihar. Later, he also called on RJD Supremo Lalu Prasad and congratulated him on the grand comeback. Though Sinha termed it as a personal meet, it has only lent credence to rumours that he might soon quit the BJP and join the JDU-led government. Now, speaking to media, the BJP leader also called for action against those who are responsible for the party's rout in Bihar. The BJP, meanwhile, is contemplating action against him for speaking publicly against senior party leaders.
बिहार की प्रगति के मामले में, सुशासन के मामले में नीतीश बाबू का बहुत जबरदस्त योगदान रहा है। नीतीश बाबू जो हैं ट्राइड, टेस्टेड और सक्सेसफुल चीफ मिनिस्टर रहे हैं। मेरी नजरों में सबसे सम्माननीय, सबसे आदरणीय, सबसे ज्यादा बढ़िया व्यक्ति या व्यक्तित्व नीतीश कुमार का।
बिहार के चुनाव को प्रभावित करने के लिए शत्रुघ्न सिन्हा जी ने उस समय पर बयान दिए और उस पैकेजिंग के वो बयान हिस्सा बन गए और पार्टी निश्चित रूप से कार्यवाही करेगी। हमारी पार्टी में सब वरिष्ठ लोग बैठे हुए इन सब चीज़ों को देख रहे हैं।
Well, on to some other news. And Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh has asked the central and the state governments to commemorate National Integration Week from 19th of November. Well, with a view to fostering and reinforcing the spirit of communal harmony, national integration and pride in vibrant composite culture and nationhood, the Qawmi Ekta Week or the National Integration Week will be observed all over the country. Programs like meetings, symposia and seminars would be organized to emphasize the themes of secularism, anti-communalism and non-violence. And the other big story, well, protesting war veterans will now begin returning their medals as a mark of protest against the OROP scheme. The government had issued a notification on the OROP scheme, but it was later rejected by the war veterans.
ये डेमोक्रेसी है, हर एक को डिमांड करने का अधिकार रहता है, लेकिन जितना मैक्सिमम उसका मेन जो डिमांड था, वो हर एक को एक रैंक में एक पेंशन, वो हमने पूरा कर दिया।
This statement by the Defence Minister not going down well with protesting ex-servicemen over the one rank, one pension issue. War veterans threatening to begin returning their medals from today to protest the government notification on OROP.
उन्होंने कल नोटिफिकेशन दिया है, वो नोटिफिकेशन 1 रैंक 1 पेंशन नहीं है, वो 1 रैंक कई पेंशन है। हमारे रक्षा मंत्री जी हमारे को कुछ और बोले, अभी बाबुओं के कहने से कुछ और स्टेटमेंट बना रहे हैं। ये तो बहुत दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण बात है। हम इस स्टेटमेंट का विरोध करते हैं और टोटली रिजेक्ट करते हैं।
The government had on Saturday formally notified the OROP scheme for the over 24 lakh ex-servicemen and 6 lakh war widows in the country, which was rejected by protesting ex-servicemen.
I think the government has given its directions on the issue. We should accept it. And if there are any anomalies which are still persisting, this could be, sorted out in due course of time.
The opposition is planning to take up the issue of OROP in the upcoming winter session of Parliament that will begin on November 26.
I urge the government, what is the ego here? What is the ego? If you are fulfilling a poll promise, please, to the ex-servicemen of this country, fulfill the promise in its comprehensive nature.
But once the principle of 1 rank 1 pension has been adopted or accepted, why quibble about its implementation? If you have to give, then you need to give with generosity, with grace to your ex-servicemen.
The return of medals by ex-servicemen is the latest in a string of similar style of protests over alleged rising intolerance in the country by writers, historians, scientists and filmmakers. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And what other events are lined up for the day? Let's take a look in the day ahead. The Inter-Ministerial Panel of the Telecom Commission will discuss the issue of spectrum cap in sharing and trading guidelines. Some operators have sought clarifications on the current cap rules. Telecom Regulatory Authority of India had in July said that unallotted telecom spectrum should also be counted while determining the limit of radio waves that a company can hold. A DOT committee in its report has also endorsed TRAI's views on spectrum cap. The 126 Indian fishermen who were released by Sri Lanka yesterday will be reaching India today. The Indian fishermen were detained for allegedly fishing in Lankan waters. According to Sri Lanka's foreign ministry, the release has been ordered as a goodwill gesture by the government ahead of Diwali. Security has been stepped up in parts of Punjab in view of the Sarbat Khalsa to be held at Amritsar. The congregation has the declared agenda of replacing the head priest at Akal Takht and 4 other seats of Sikhism. The hardline Shiromani Akali Dal Amritsar leader Simranjit Singh Mann says that they want to free Sikh institutions from political influence. Punjab Chief Minister Prakash Singh Badal has dubbed today's congregation as political and a potential threat to peace and communal harmony in the state. The Karnataka government will today celebrate the birthday of 18th century King Tipu Sultan. However, Sangh Parivar outfits have threatened to disrupt the first ever government celebration, saying that Tipu Sultan was the most intolerant ruler. BJP has announced that it will also boycott the celebrations, stating that the king was a religious bigot. It is the second and the final day of the EU finance ministers meeting in Brussels. On Monday, Euro finance ministers debated whether Athens had met the first set of conditions to unlock the next installment of the bailout of $92 billion. The ministers decided to delay the release of the payout of $2.15 billion, but indicated that it might be dispensed soon. The ministers also urged Athens to deliver swiftly on overhauls to its financial system. Well, big news coming in from Kerala, where the state government is likely to seek Finance Minister K.M. Mani's resignation after the High Court on Monday endorsed a vigilance court order to further investigate the bar bribery case involving him. Well, the Congress-led government in Kerala suffered a setback on Monday after the High Court refused to stop investigations into whether Mani took 1 crore rupees to renew the licenses of bars that were shut down last year. The vigilance court in Thiruvananthapuram had on 29th of October, while ordering a further probe into the case, observed that there are sufficient material for making out a prima facie case. The government had last week appealed to the High Court seeking to quash the Vigilance Court order for further probe into the case. The bar bribery scandal has been identified as one of the main reasons for the debacle of Congress in the civic polls, and the Congress leaders have been very vocal about Mani's resignation. Mani heads the Kerala Congress, the third largest partner in the ruling coalition with 9 MLAs. And in Breakfast News, we'll take a very short break. Stay with us for more news and updates. Well, on to the big international story. Well, in Myanmar, Aung San Suu Kyi's National League for Democracy is all set to sweep to power with indications of a massive vote swing in the party's favour. While the ruling party has already conceded defeat, the NLD has won all 49 seats for which results have been announced so far, needing a two-third majority to wrest control. Here is more.
Celebrations broke across the streets in Myanmar as Aung San Suu Kyi's National League for Democracy is heading for a landslide victory in the first openly contested elections in the country in 25 years, commencing an end to military rule. Suu Kyi's NLD has won 49 of the first 54 seats for which results have been announced so far. Counting is still underway and full results will be announced in few days. The military-backed Union Solidarity Development Party has already conceded defeat. Washington welcomed the election, assuring that new government can count on the US in its transition to democracy.
It's important for all political leaders to work together to form a new government and for stakeholders to help to ensure calm and pursue national reconciliation.
It's some way to go yet. The military already controls 25% of seats in nearly 1,100-member House. NLD has to secure two-thirds of the seats in Parliament to reach power. Reports suggest they are on track with indications of a high vote share and a rout for the ruling party. Under the rules, Myanmar's tall leader and Nobel laureate Aung San Suu Kyi cannot become president herself. The constitution bars anyone with foreign children from holding the post. However, there are strong indications that she would continue to pull all strings. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And in the other big international story, well, Russia could be banned from international athletics, including the 2016 Olympic Games. Now, this comes after World Anti-Doping Agency recommended the ban following its commission report, which alleged widespread corruption and state-sponsored doping offences. Now, the commission found a deeply rooted culture of cheating in Russian athletics, which it said the Russian state security services colluded with. The commission also said that WADA-accredited anti-doping laboratory in Moscow destroyed 1,417 samples shortly before an inspection. The Russian sports minister, however, said that there was no evidence for the accusation and the samples had been destroyed at WADA's request. Now, IIAF President Sebastian Coe has said that he will seek approval from fellow IIAF Council members on whether the Russian Athletics Federation should be banned.
As the investigation went on, we discovered information that not only related to sport corruption in the general sense of it, but also to possible criminal actions as well.
Сам доклад комиссии, выводы комиссии об этом не говорят. Это, скорее всего, эмоциональное заявление председателя комиссии, как он понимает ситуацию, не более того. А выводы комиссии, они никаких неожиданностей для России не открыли.
The Russian Federation, the Athletics Federation, to answer the allegations made today in the Pounds report. I've asked my council to convene on Friday this week. We will review what they have said. and then we will look at the next steps, which could include sanctions.
And some more international stories now in World Wrap. Amid reports of standoff, Australia has sent police reinforcements to Christmas Island Detention Centre to restore order. The country's immigration department said that the group of detainees resorted to non-compliant behaviour. They destroyed some facilities and lit fires. The unrest, which is into its third day, was sparked by a death of a detainee who had escaped the camp. In yet another incident, Australia came under criticism for its asylum seeker rules at the UN Rights Council. Several countries, including the US and Britain, have said that Australia should stop turning back migrant boats and using offshore detention centres. The criticism comes after the death of an asylum seeker who tried to escape. The White House has launched a Facebook page for President Barack Obama. Now, Obama will speak in first person like the Twitter account the White House launched for him early in May. Striking a conversational tone, Obama posted his first video message on climate change. A Jordanian policeman today opened fire at a police training center in killing 2 Americans in South African and 2 Jordanians. He also wounded several before being shot dead. US President Barack Obama said that they will take the attack very seriously. The US-funded Jordan International Police Training Center hosts many Palestinian and Iraqi officers. The investigation has been ordered into the incident. And back home in India, in a major cricketing development, the Board of Control for Cricket in India has removed N. Srinivasan as ICC chairman after it decided to recall him and nominate its recently elected President Shashank Manohar as the chief of the world body. Here are all the details.
The decision to remove Srinivasan was taken at BCCI's 86th annual general meeting in Mumbai today, virtually signalling the end of his hold on Indian cricket. The BCCI will now recommend this change to ICC.
I would like to inform you that the BCCI representative to the ICC will be Mr. Shashank Manohar, and being the virtue of the board representative in the ICC, he will take over as the ICC chairman.
The tenure of Srinivasan, who took over in June last year, was to end next year in the same month, and the remainder of the term would be completed by Shashank Manohar, as it is India's turn to hold the top position. In case Manohar cannot attend the ICC meetings, Sharad Pawar will be India's representative.
There is a system in the ICC that every country has to nominate an alternate director. Because suppose somebody is not able to attend a meeting on a particular day, then the alternate director has to attend that meeting. So Mr. Pawar has been nominated as an alternate director.
With his sacking as ICC chairman, Srinivasan now only remains the president of Tamil Nadu Cricket Association. His company, India Cements, had owned the IPL franchise Chennai Super Kings, which was suspended for 2 years after its officials were held guilty of betting. Among the other developments following the conclusion of the AGM, Roger Binney was removed as the national selector, and Ravi Shastri was also removed from the IPL Governing Council in the board's effort to battle conflict of interest among board officials. Rajya Sabha MP Rajiv Shukla was retained as the IPL chairman. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And a look at some other sporting news now in Sports Beat. India jumped on top of the overall medal standings at Asian Shooting Championship with 6 more medals to their kitty on day 6. India went ahead of China with a total of 12 golds, 8 silver and 8 bronze for a total haul of 28 medals. Saina Nehwal and K. Srikanth will look to revive their top form when they begin their campaign as defending champions at the China Open Super Series premiere today. Saina, who made early exits from Japan, Denmark and France Super Series, will take on China's Sun Yu in the opening round. Srikanth, who had been troubled by injury and poor form recently, will take on Hong Yun of Hong Kong. West Indies spinner Sunil Narine has been reported for a suspect bowling action and will need to undergo tests within 14 days. The 27-year-old was reported after the first one-day international against Sri Lanka. Narine's action had earlier been questioned in the Indian Premier League, but it is the first time that he has been reported in an international match. And finally, well, it is that time of the year when every part of India gets dolled up. Every corner is being lit up with lights, diyas, candles and smiles. A look at the beginning of the Festival of Lights. The markets are lit. The streets are buzzing with activity late into the night. It is the Diwali week and the festivities have begun. Adding to the glitter are these Chinese LED lights which have come to the Indian market.
ये LED लाइट्स लॉन्च हो रही सब चीप एंड बेस्ट होती है, यूज करो, थ्रो कर दो इस साल, अगले साल फिर लोग नहीं ले लेते हैं।
इस समय मार्केट काफ़ी अच्छे रफ्तार में है।
क्या क्या लगाया है आपने, क्या क्या
ये हमने आपकी ये LED लाइट्स लगाए हैं जो इस समय चाइना से नए आए हैं और ये इसको झालर ये सब सारे कुछ नए हैं इस बार।
Spoiled for choice, customers are hopping shops to find decor items which suit their tastes and pockets. Local markets are filled with numerous variety of LEDs. But the old traditional diya can never be replaced by these swanky new lights. Age-old diya has its own place and importance.
बहुत अच्छी तरह दिए लगे हुए हैं, फैंसी लगे हुए हैं, वो डेकोरेट करने में ज़्यादा अच्छे लगेंगे जो फैंसी हैं।
मार्केट में बहुत रौनक है, बहुत अच्छी बाजार है इस बार, अच्छा लग रहा है, दिवाली का फेस्टिवल है।
देख देख के इतना कंफ्यूज हो रहे हैं, बट जितने घर में लाइट्स जलती हैं उतना ही दिवाली पे अच्छा लगता है।
I wish happy Diwali to everyone.
On that bright and happy note, that is all in this edition of Breakfast News. Wishing you all a very happy Choti Diwali. Thanks for your time.